When a person stands at a crossroads, watching the busy traffic, but not knowing where to go, when lying in bed at night, repeatedly asking oneself, what is the meaning of living? In these moments, we are all inadvertently touching the core of existentialism. Existentialism, a philosophical school born in a turbulent era, is like a calm observer, facing the absurdity and predicament of human existence directly, yet lighting a lamp for people to find themselves in despair. From Kierkegaard's Lonely Individual to Sartre's Absolute Freedom, from Camus' Myth of Sisyphus to Heidegger's Dasein, existentialists use sharp thoughts and profound insights to analyze the essence of existence and guide the direction in confusion. The birth of existentialism is no accident. It is deeply rooted in the social and ideological soil from the 19th to the early 20th century, reflecting the spirit of the times. Since the 19th century, Western society has undergone unprecedented changes. The rapid development of the Industrial Revolution has brought prosperity to material civilization, but it has also gradually reduced people to appendages of machines, losing their individual uniqueness and autonomy. At the same time, the outbreak of 2 world wars brought huge disasters to mankind. The cruelty of war, the distortion of human nature, and the collapse of traditional values made people deeply doubt and confused about the world and their own existence. In this context, people urgently needed a philosophical thought that could explain the predicament of existence and endow life with meaning, and existentialism emerged as the times required. In terms of ideological origin, existentialism has been influenced by several philosophical schools. Kierkegaard is regarded as the pioneer of existentialism. He emphasized individual subjectivity and irrationalism, opposed Hegel's absolute rationalism, and believed that truth is subjective, and individual existence is higher than all abstract concepts. Nietzsche's assertion that God is dead completely shook the traditional Christian values in the West, clearing the way for existentialism to emphasize human self-creation and self-realization. In addition, Husserl's phenomenology also provided an important methodological basis for existentialism. Existentialists drew on the phenomenological method of returning to things themselves to focus on individual concrete existence and subjective experience. In the first half of the 20th century, existentialism was widely spread and developed in France and Germany, becoming one of the most influential philosophical schools at that time. A group of outstanding existentialists, such as Sartre, Camus, and Heidegger, spread existentialist ideas around the world through their philosophical works, literary works, and social activities, profoundly influencing people's ways of thinking and attitudes towards life. Existentialist ideas are like a storm of thought, subverting many concepts of traditional philosophy. Its core ideas revolve around individual existence, freedom and responsibility, full of profound reflections on the human state of existence. Existence precedes essence is one of the core propositions of existentialism, clearly put forward by Sartre. He believes that human beings are different from things. Things have their fixed essence. For example, a knife, before being manufactured, its essence, a cutting tool, has already been determined. However, human beings have no predetermined essence. Human beings first exist, and then continuously shape and create their own essence through their own choices and actions. In other words, a person is the product of his own actions, and what a person is depends on what he does. Freedom and responsibility are another important part of existentialist thought. Existentialists believe that human beings have absolute freedom. This freedom does not refer to freedom in the external environment, but that human beings have the freedom to choose when facing various possibilities. Sartre even believed that man is condemned to be free and cannot escape choice. However, freedom is not without cost. While enjoying freedom, man must bear corresponding responsibilities, because every choice is not only about the individual, but also affects others and society. So one must be fully responsible for one's own choices. Existentialism also focuses on individual loneliness and anxiety. In their view, human beings are lonely in this world, with no external authority or meaning to rely on, and can only rely on themselves to find and create meaning. This sense of loneliness often triggers people's anxiety, which does not come from specific things, but from people's uncertainty about their own existence and fear of free choice. But existentialists believe that anxiety is not a bad thing. It precisely reminds people of their own freedom and responsibility, prompting them to understand themselves more clearly. In addition, absurdity is also an important theme explored by existentialism. Camus believes that the world itself is absurd. There are irreconcilable contradictions between human beings and nature. And between human beings and others, human beings try to find the meaning of the world, but find that the world is indifferent and meaningless. But he also pointed out that in the face of absurdity, people should not escape or commit suicide, but should bravely resist, persist in absurdity, and endow life with meaning through their own actions, which is the heroic spirit of absurdity.